Party people, party people. Hello. How you doing? Whew. Let me just get some deep breaths in for me real quick. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of The Inside Perspective. You know, I kind of miss saying that. It's been a minute since I've actually sat down and been able to do this work. Honestly, I've been busy as fuck with starting school. Started my master's in biomedicine and digital media, which will help me catapult the Inside Perspective even further. The things I have planned, my God. I've also been training to be a certified life coach, which required a lot more intentionality than I don't think it was intentionality. It took a lot more time than I expected. I'll just put it that way. I spent so much time going through the modules, going through the self-study packets, doing the reflection, which has definitely been my favorite thing about the certification thus far. Like, the types of questions and reflection that is required of you, because it's like, if you're gonna try to help somebody else go through this process, you have to do it yourself first. So I have been hitting with some deep reflection, and there was something that was sitting on my chest so much so I said, you know what, this isn't going to be for my self-study hours. Yes, cheers. This is going to be an episode. Ooh, 99 peaches. My Lord. Yes, I chase with water. Don't judge. If anything, you should support. I've only had a hangover maybe once or twice in my drinking years. Nevertheless, it was talking about relationships and connections and intimacy, and, you know, the way in which we share our lives with people, and how sometimes it doesn't really go as planned in your mind. And so that leads me to today's topic of being friends with your exes. Being friends with your exes. Yes. I always say I'm cool with being friends with my exes, is mostly because I date good people. I date people and get in relationship with people who are good at their core and just may have some fucked up way of showing and expressing their love, and sometimes their triggers get the best of them, as every human on this earth does. I've had my fair share of trigger explosions, but now it comes to what does that boundary look like, you know, especially if you're in a new relationship, right? So let's just backpedal just a little bit. Y'all break up, you and your person break up. You still want them in your life. Like, let's be honest about some of these things. Every time we break up doesn't mean it's like we hate each other, fuck them type of vibe. Can that be wrapped up into an I love you and I miss you? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, there's still a lot of anger and frustration that's there at the very beginning. So I'm not saying y'all finna be buddy as soon as you break up. Like, let's be realistic. There's gonna be some distance. There's gonna be some separation. There's gonna be some awkward, some tension, some anger. But allowing that to kind of go through its phases and still have respect for one another, not to allow that anger and frustration and pain be used in a way that tears down the person that you actually really care about. And so, again, since I date good people, rarely have I been in a situation when, I'd say probably once or twice, I've been in a situation where I've decided to back out of the dating part of the relationship, because there's dating, which I really want y'all to get. There's dating. Oh, sorry, Mikey. There's dating, and then there's being, let's see, dating, casually dating, and then there's exclusively dating, and then there's the relationship, right? So I feel as though, not this turning into a relationship, whatever. I feel as though whenever you're casually dating, you could do whatever the fuck you want. Text who you want, fuck who you want, go out on dates who you want. Just whenever it comes to sexual health, make sure you communicate and always use protection and get tested regularly. And that means if you do have a partner and you're only with that partner, get tested every 6 months. And this is my recommendation, I'm not the CDC. But then if you are having sex with multiple people throughout the month, then you need to be getting tested If it's like your top 5 for the whatever, I say you still need to get tested every 3 months, maybe even sooner. But ultimately, certain diseases don't show up until honestly 3 months, or you could be asymptomatic. You have chlamydia and you don't even know it. Nevertheless, when you're in that casual dating, you're free to do whatever the fuck you want. Now, whenever you're exclusively dating, you're still dating that person. However, you're starting to place and put in some of your because they're not boundaries, expectations. Yeah, expectations of like what you want from a partner. Like it's starting to get a little bit more deeper, a little more intentional. Like it isn't just like, hey, let's go out and get something to eat and just chat about whatever. It's like, so how do you cope? What does angry so and so look like? How does that transcend into your relationship? Like it's more in depth than you're really just honing on this one person because you're feeling them and you probably feel like you could have a relationship with them. Now I feel as though that you can. I was gonna say that you can exclusively date more than one person, but then what does the word exclusively mean then? You know what I mean? So I think that what I was thinking of could definitely go into the casual dating. Casual dating, you're here for everyone. You're doing you. You got your judge going on. You got your top roster. And then I felt like once you get into like exclusively dating, you got your number one, but you still got your number two, just in case. Also, while communicating all these things, you're never a player if you gotta lie about your shit. You're never a player. I can promise you that. If you gotta lie, then you really not who you think you are. I've been in relationships. Well, I've been dating someone and dating multiple people at a time, or having sex with multiple people at a time, and they know. They may not know who they are exactly, but they know that I'm having sex with them. They may be having sex with one other person because sexual health is important. But then also, so there's no misunderstanding of like, oh, I thought this was more serious or this, that, and the third. It's like, no, I'm casually dating right now. You on the roster. You ain't got to say it like that, but you got to find your way to let them know. You on the roster. But again, once you get into your exclusively dating, you got your number one. Number two's on deck. But you got your number one. And then eventually you're going to get into, because the goal of casually dating is casually dating. Now, exclusively dating is with the goal of getting in a relationship, period. You're not exclusively dating somebody for shits and giggles. Let's be for real. So once you're in that relationship, you love each other, you go through your processes. Long story short, you break up. Now, the only time where I feel like, okay, so let's say I was a manipulator and abuser. Let's just say that. I mean, it's unlikely, but let's just say in the relationship that somebody broke up with me, I was manipulative, I was abusive, physically, emotionally, and verbally. Do I think you should go and be friends with me after we break up? No. No. Now, 5, 10 years or a year or whatever, if you're open to being friends with them, you've seen the changes, you feel safe around them, you can pick up, you can still pick up their sense. Like I feel like whenever you really love somebody, you really know somebody, and emphasis on when you really know someone, you can still feel their spirit around you, and you can feel whenever it's brighter or when it's more dim. And so if you still have that essence and you still want to go chop it up with them, what's the harm? Now, we have to pay attention to our intention in going back to go chat it up. Is it really is just to go kick it with somebody that you used to have a lot of fun with, like your dog, like your friend, like y'all can go to putt and maybe a movie and it's still very platonic? Yes. Enjoy people, enjoy friendships. But if that motherfucker is still an abuser, mentally, emotionally, super manipulative, verbally, dead him. You don't need people in your life like that. You deserve a soft love. Love shouldn't be disrespect. Love shouldn't be manipulative. Love doesn't put you down. Like, I think we really need to start understanding that half of y'all are getting it. Well, half of us are getting in relationships where the people like the idea of us and not necessarily who we are in general. It's more so like they fit the picture. They would look good with me in a picture on Instagram. Like it's the look that they're going after. You fit the look, and know that because in their mind you fit the look, they also expect you to act a certain way. And so whenever you stop acting that certain way, you're gonna get fired. But the thing is, they won't get rid of you because you still go with their niche of what they want to look like. They can't be the person that lost a girlfriend once they went to college. They can't be the person that like, oh, my baby daddy left me, my baby mom left me. It can't look that way. So they rather torture and torment you while you're in the relationship, hoping that maybe you'll leave them, but then they're still gonna come after you, pursue you. And I'm talking about manipulators and abusers right now, specifically. They'll do everything they need to make you look like the villain and them like the victim. You just have to understand at one point when to walk away. Our ego will make us think that I can take all this bullshit. You and all your bullshit. Sorry, Jackie's came in my head. I'd rather deal with you and all your bullshit. Nevertheless, I'd much rather not deal with you and all your bullshit. At the end of the day, people will put you through what you tolerate. More often than not, the reason why they are trying to make you seem like the victim is so they don't have to take accountability for any of their actions. It's easier for them to tear you down behind doors and make you feel like the smallest piece of shit, so that whenever they do start making you feel better, they can say, well, look what all I did and made sure that like I took you from that place to make sure you didn't feel that way anymore. One motherfucker, you was the one who put me in there in the first place. Like, so no, we don't want to be friends with them. Leave your now I remember what I was talking about. Right. So your ego will make you think that, oh, I can take this on. I can tolerate. It's the ego. It's not the love that you think you have for them. It's not the way that they treat you. It's not the one time or the few times that they came into your life and made you feel a little bit better. It is your ego telling you that you can take on all the disrespect, the belittlement, the manipulation, all of that because you feel like you can fix them. You should love them, absolutely. But do you love them more than you love yourself? Because by tolerating that disrespect and taking that disrespect, manipulation, physical abuse, emotional abuse, verbal abuse, you're saying I love you more than me. And that's what they want. I was supposed to be talking about friends after a relationship, but this is a very specific part that I feel like we just needed to be touched on. Really needed to be touched on. Because I see and even myself, I seen it in myself of constantly going back, and I'm looking for the piece of paper because I went to go see a therapist the other day and she told me what this is. But I gotta find the piece of, I think I see it. Hold on, y'all, hold on. Oh shit. I found it. I found it. Did I have this one? I think it was like this. Yeah. No, it wasn't. It was this way. Okay, we live. Nevertheless, when I was talking to this therapist about this, because I got to a point where I was really, really low and I didn't have my usual therapist who just hasn't really been as present, may or may not have something going on. Nevertheless, Aaliyah still needed help. So I found like a little emergency, talk to somebody type thing. It's called Life Solutions. If you have UPMC insurance, you should be able to get it. I think you get like 6 sessions. Nevertheless, what she had, when I had explained to her how I was feeling and this woman that I was like, why do I feel like I still want to go back? Or why do I feel like I can still, like, I know I don't want to be with them, but like I still want to be around them in a particular capacity to help them grow. And so she told me that that is something called repetition compulsion, in which case you consistently go back to something, even though it's like you're consistently going back to like a particular feeling, trying to heal the very first time you felt that hurt through this person. So say the first pain that you ever felt in a certain situation, whenever it was a betrayal of trust or a betrayal of love or anything, anytime that you find yourself back in that same situation, even though you may not be thinking it's the same, but it's producing the same chemicals and hormones in your body of what happened the initial time, and you're still trying to heal yourself from it. But you're just using any person that still replicates that feeling. So, nevertheless, in essence, we are still picking partners that caused us the first pain that we ever felt. Whenever we're trying to, and I mean this, whenever we're trying to go back to an ex that really isn't good for us, go back to an ex that used to manipulate you or abuse you in any type of way. It's that feeling of still trying to heal yourself for the very first time, because it may be the first time they've done it to you. So your brain isn't registering the fact that, like, oh, this happened whenever my mom did da 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 da, or when my dad or when my uncle, like all of those things. Your body is still releasing those hormones, but you are still seeing it as this brand new person, which is a completely different situation. Repetition compulsion. And a book she recommended was Stop Caretaking. And another little note I have on here that says, the ego cannot get in the way. The ego says, I can take it, but you have to realize that you don't have to. So that really hit for me. And I've been thinking about basically every single relationship that I've been in since then. And the type of relationship that I have with them now in terms of friendship, how do I act? How am I conducting myself? Am I still trying to be, am I still trying to be Captain Save a Hoe? Am I still maybe not Captain Save a Hoe, but Cadet Coleman here to the rescue? Like, what what role am I playing in this moment with the friendships that I do have with my exes? And what I really was thankful is that I've matured enough that there's some people that I've dated that I realize, like, we can still be cool. I see you walking around, it's still, hey, what's up? It's all love. How you doing? Give me a hug. You know, I hope you're doing well. How are you? I like that. I appreciate the fact that almost every person that I've been intimate with, or even just had a relationship with, I can still go dap them up or say what's up, dog, or give them a nice little head nod or some eye contact. Like, it's not beef. I can't stand having beef. It's really not. It's not in me. I don't like it. I don't like conflict, but don't get it fucked up. Like, don't fuck with me either. But, like, I really don't like conflict. I prefer to talk things out. But as soon as I start to feel disrespected repeatedly, you kind of just run out of chances. I saw this one, I was talking to my bro about it, and but she was saying that she was watching this TikTok, and this woman was saying basically guys that she dates, she puts their name on the board and almost plays it like hangman. And every time they mess up or disrespect her or whatever it is in a certain way, she erases a letter. And so I have somewhat of that same system, but I usually just use numbers. And you get, I'd like to say you get 3. But more often than not, you get about 4.75 chances with me. Because sometimes shit do be accidents. And you can also build your points back, depending upon behavior. So it's not like a total just like, you fucked up 1, you fucked up 2. Like, I'm very open to understanding that we're all human beings, because I even make mistakes and fuck up and say things and do things that really wasn't in my best interest or the best interest of my partner or my friend or whoever I'm talking to at the time. So I'm really grateful, but I'm able to take accountability. Accountability gets you points back. If you can know that you've misbehaved, kind of act out of whack, just a little off, you were triggered and you reacted in a certain way, you can come back and have a conversation with me after that, I can give you some points back. But if you want to act like you wasn't doing shit and then try to gaslight me, oh my God, I may just have to clear the board. You're done. You're done. You're done. But I'm realizing that although I say I'm done, internally, I'm still like, damn, why it have to be like that? Like, damn, we really couldn't have a conversation? Like, we really couldn't talk about this? And that eats at me because, again, now we got beef. And I'm not the one to kind of just like shrug shit off like it is what it is. That's not how I operate. I fucking care. And I'll fucking care for a while. even with me being in my relationship now, like, and that's why I'm so, for one, appreciative of my girlfriend, because her and I can share conversations like this where I talk about like, hey, I'm feeling a little wonky because like I just don't like how a certain situation was handled between me and a friend or me and somebody I dated or like whatever had happened. I'm just like, hey, it just don't feel right. And she don't ever like think like, the fuck that got to do with us? Like, is that you second guessing us? And I'm like, no, babe. Like, you know, I'm 100% all in on you. I just also have these feelings, and I'm like a sponge. Like, until I'm able to be thoroughly rinsed out and washed, I just feel like I'm stained with the pain of what happened between me and the individual. And sometimes I don't know if I'm trying to still go in and still go and be their friend. Or if I'm only looking for, I'm trying to heal with the person there. You know what I mean? Like, they said some fucked up or did some fucked up shit, and I still kind of just want to be around them, almost on some like, did you really mean that shit? Like, did you really mean that shit? Like the way it happened? Like, did you really mean that? Like, I'd be so hurt, y'all, so fucking hurt. Like, damn. Out of all the ways you could have moved, that's the one you did. And so that's whenever I have a hard time of trying to understand, like, am I trying to be their friend or am I still looking for them to heal me? Because it's not their responsibility. So there's many layers to wanting to be friends with your ex. You can't want to be friends with your ex because you still want the benefits of fucking them if you're single. That's going backwards. You don't need that in your life. You can't do that. And so, and now whenever I think about like, why do I want to be friends with this person? And if it's ultimately because they are a good person but just got some fucked up behaviors and it's on your scale to where you're comfortable. I don't even like saying that because some of us tolerate too much bullshit. But for lack of a better word, if it wasn't that bad when y'all was together and it was just a lot of miscommunication and misunderstanding that just turned into hurtful words, like, I'm the person I want to sit down and have a conversation with it. But I need some time though, because you hurt my feelings. And usually once people hurt my feelings, I need true and total space from them, because then I start to want to play the same game back. Like, oh, you thought that was a low blow? I can go to hell. Like, but that's not who I am. And so when I know that I have those behaviors coming out in me, I really say like, okay, let me take a beat. Let me give this some space. Let me give it some breathing room. Everything needs air, you know? Well, I guess not everything. I guess fish don't. But nevertheless, giving it some time, some space to then be able to come back to the situation, but then also understanding that that person may not want to be friends with you. They don't want to kick it with you. They don't want to be able to text, hey, how you doing? Have a good one. Like, they don't want that. It's like we was together, now we wasn't. We cool, but, like, it's cakes. I'm okay with that because there's no beef. There's no beef. But if there's beef, I'm like, nah, we with time, of course, damn near a year. But with time, I'm like, nah, we shared too much. We've seen each other in such a light. Like, I know in my heart I don't want it. I feel like in both of our hearts this isn't how we want this shit to go. But sometimes it just needs to be that way, and you just literally need to walk your separate ways because you're toxic to each other. But there are those slim moments where you can come back and be able to have the conversations necessary. One, just to clear the air, but then two, to remind each other that you aren't the worst parts that we had just seen of each other. And I feel like with true friendships that you'll find in people that you date or in general, but specifically with people that you're dating, if you find a solid motherfucker that just fucked up, and after some time you feel as though that you can give each other a chance to get that clarity, I say go for it. If that blossoms into a friendship, amazing. Make sure you establish boundaries, especially if you're in a relationship. Establish those boundaries. Establish the boundaries, period, but like even more so whenever you're in a relationship, and communicate with your partner. Let them know what's going on. Don't leave them in the dark and out of nowhere just pop up and be like, yeah, I'm friends with my ex again. Don't do that. Communicate the whole way through. They may not like it, they may not appreciate it, but nevertheless, it's happening because that's what you will. That's what you're willing. Like, that's what you will. If that's what you want to do, like, but always check your intentions. Don't go after them because you still want to fuck them on the low. Don't go after them because, I'm trying to put this. Don't go after them because you trying to fuck them on the low, and don't go after them because you still trying to get them to heal you. It's not their responsibility, and go buy a sex toy. Because now you're confusing your healing process. Your soul and your inner spirit is looking for one thing, but your body going after the flesh. That dick, that coochie is not finna heal you. It's gonna feel good, but it's not gonna heal you. Stop doing it. It is momentary pleasure, still with pain just locked up inside you. And also realize that they may not be the only person that's caused you that pain. It's time to go back and unpack some shit from your childhood, from the past, from whatever. Talk it out. Shit, if you ever need to talk it out, hit my DMs. If you got my number, hit me. But never go back looking for the wrong things. You're just going to go backwards with it. You think you're making those progressive steps, but doing something like that is really going to set you back. So take the time to think about, like, if I want to be friends with this person, why? What am I seeking from them? What do they bring to the table? I fucking hate saying that. What do they provide? Because Twitter made me fucking hate. What do they bring to the table? Nigga, I am the table. Nevertheless, it's time to start questioning our actions and why we do things. And don't just let it all rattle around in your head. Write down the questions, write it down, text it down in your notes, write it down on a piece of paper. I don't care if you have fucking chalk and a chalkboard, but just get that shit out. Having all that circling in your head is going to make you get a pimple on your nose. We don't want a pimple on the nose. We're not Rudolph. So take the time to get that shit out your head and really pay attention to what you want to do. At the end of the day, I'm friends with a few of my exes. My other ex was here the other day. We was just chopping it up. That's my dog. Now, I'm not friends with all of them, but there's some good people in this world, and whenever you have them, try not to let miscommunications and small misunderstandings or large misunderstandings stop that from flourishing. So thanks for hanging out with me in another episode of The Inside Perspective. Until next time, drink your water and go stretch.